and welcome to another episode of Beer Analysis 101, where we manipulate your heart, we manipulate your soul, we manipulate your taste buds. We just manipulate you right across the board, basically, when we talk about beer. So it'll be a lot of fun. And I'm your host, Lee Russell, and we are going to be talking about Samuel Adams Oktoberfest this time out. And I'll introduce the esteemed panel here from my left to right. First off, we have the albino one himself, the albino rhino. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good. I hope you're not on delay. I hope you're just that naturally slow tonight.
No. I was just, I was taken aback by all the noise that Chris and Greg were making.
Yeah, they're being kind of unprofessional here.
We're doing it together, too.
My bad.
Yeah. Next, we have the bearded one himself, the terrorist of beer tube. Average.
Some would say the manipulator.
The master manipulator. How you doing, sir?
Doing great. I can't wait to corrupt the shit out of this fucking hangout. Should be a lot of fun.
Yep. We bow to your whim. Next, in the basement himself, Jamie. How you doing, sir?
Oh,
Guten Tag.
basement.
Very good. Thank you. Cheers.
Up near the Tokyo Drift portion of Canada, it's the perverted one himself, Greg. How you doing, sir?
Well, number one, I'm amazed how long a fidget spinner will spin for. And I'm excited to do our Sam Adams beer.
Yeah, I think you picked the wrong one.
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave
Oh.
based on the fact that you own a fidget spinner. Get the fuck out, please. Thanks.
I got it for free.
No, give it away.
What, like
And
this
now
one
we-
here?
Crazy.
Get those out of the panel. Stop it. And next we got a guy who can no longer be said to be in the basement unless he's just slumming it. Chris Liza. How you doing, sir?
Even though he's in the basement.
I'm in a
slumming it.
basement right now. I'm in Chad's basement until tomorrow, and I'm glad to be here. I'm looking forward to examining and manipulating this beer.
Are you spending the night? You said until tomorrow. That's not
No,
cool.
sorry. I'll be online here, and then I get my internet tomorrow in my apartment.
Clarification. That's all we needed.
Yeah, I'm not sleeping over.
I hope you're
I was
for
hoping
sure
you were
scotch
cuddling.
guarded.
All right.
And finally, the well-endowed one himself, Nicholas. How you doing, sir?
Not too bad. I'm super excited for Beer Manipulation 101.
There you go.
We got a nice cold bottle, lots of condensation on it.
Yes.
There's pieces of ice chunks in it.
Ice chunks.
Sure.
So we are looking at Sam Adams Oktoberfest, which is Marzen / Oktoberfest lager. Of course, introduced in 1989, I believe, from Samuel Adams. And it has the hop varieties of Tettnang, Tettnanger, Hallertau, Mittelfrüh. So it's basically the same old hops that they use all the time. Their malt varieties are the Sam Adams 2-row pale malt blends, the Munich 10, the Samuel Adams Oktoberfest malt, and the Caramel 60. So they have quite the interesting little malt bill going on there. This is released from mid-August to late October, and it's, of course, their fall seasonal, although they have changed it up depending on the year and when they release it. Sometimes it's been released even earlier than mid-August. I think they had some public outcry when they tried that a few years ago, and I think they started sort of pulling back on that. Now, the ABV says 5.3 when I was looking it up online, but my ABV is 5.5. What is what do you all you guys got? Because some of you,
Same.
I assume, yeah,
5.5.
Same.
okay.
5-5.
5-3. That's right. Official. America. All right,
There you go.
All right, just sorry.
So if you weren't aware, although this is not brewed in Canada, it is distributed by our friends at Moosehead for the Canadian market. So there seems to be a slight bump in the alcohol by volume for us.
Good.
So,
We need it.
but we still get the 355 milliliter bottles as well. So there you go. I bought mine in a 6-pack for $15 across the board for 355 milliliter bottles. What was the sort of price for you guys?
I think I have 14 something at the LCBO. Don't
Yeah,
remember exactly. I think
exactly.
14.50 something.
Yeah, 14.50 or something. Yeah, I agree. That's how much it was for us.
Okay.
I'm not sure. How about you, Joe?
I paid $14.99 for a mixed 12-pack of the fall beers.
Yeah.
I love you, America.
They sell it in individuals here in New Brunswick. They were $3.45 each, which I think is like close to $16. That's the most expensive one here.
Okay. Also, 16 IBUs apparently. So you can at least taste. You can at least taste the hops, or we'll see if we can anyway. I don't think I really need to get too deep into what the Oktoberfest style is. Basically, just a darker lager. They were usually brewed and cellared in March, and then opened up for the fall season for Oktoberfest. And they tend to be a bit darker traditionally than what you tend to see on the market these days, as they're much more of a mass market kind of tourist beer at this point for Germany. But they're basically designed to be a slightly maltier lager that you can have with food. So there you go. That's pretty much what they are for. And so we'll start to get into the panels, sort of first time they had it, what their history is with it, and what their sort of overall thoughts are for this style and just the beer to drink. And we'll start with the Albino Rhino.
Alrighty, my history with the beer. I've had it once before this. I can't remember a thing about it. It was 4 years back. I had to go and look it up to see when it was. I've always found Marzens to be fairly boring, but I can't deny that they're very, very drinkable. I like this. I've actually been sipping on it right now. Nice little like caramel flavors. Nice little hop back end. Just a little bit of that dirtiness. Just very easy drinking beer. I mean, I have no problem with this. It's too boring for me to drink all the time. But the 6-pack will go down pretty quickly. We usually rate it as what we think and what it is stylistically. What I think myself, I don't know, a 6. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't think I would go out and spend almost $15 for a 6-pack ever again. As a Marzen, probably I don't know, an 8.75, a 9. It's pretty much right on where the BGCP says it should be.
Okay. Cool. Now we'll move on to Average Joe, and we should get an interesting answer from you, sir, because I seem to recall you and Massive Beer Reviews and Paul from PA Brew News Reviews.
Oh, baby. Dusty Paul, baby. Yeah. Yeah, I have a more of an in-depth experience going back quite a while. So the first time I've ever had this beer was the fall of 2010. It was about a year after I first got into craft beer, and I picked up their fall mix pack. And up to that point, never had an Oktoberfest in my life, so I was kind of indifferent to it. It was okay. Didn't hate it, didn't like it. But every subsequent year up until this year and probably going forward, I do buy that fall mix pack along with their winter mix pack because I have a soft spot in my heart for Sam Adams, their mix packs. They're cheap, as I mentioned earlier, $15 for a mixed 12-pack. Can't really go wrong. And I've come to enjoy their Oktoberfest over the last couple of years. I've come to appreciate it. Much like Rhino, don't really get into the style that much. I do find it very boring and very just, I understand why tons of people love the style. You can crush the shit out of most Oktoberfest. Just doesn't do it for me, but I think this is one of the better ones brewed in the style. Now, to go to your second point about Paul and Matt, both friends of the channel, friends of most people here, Paul from PA Brew News, Matt from Massive Beer Reviews. We did a Oktoberfest blind taste testing on Labor Day weekend 2014. We pitted 4 German-brewed Oktoberfest against 4 U.S. brewed German Fest. I think there was Spaten in there, Hacker Shore, Eyinger, I forget the other one. And we had Victory, Great Lakes, Firestone Walker, and Sam Adams. Sam Adams ended up winning the whole shebang. We all agreed that it was the best. Now, by best, I mean we gave it like a 7.5 out of 10. But it's still won, and you're talking 4 like legit German style Oktoberfest. Now, when they come over here, I don't know what's changed. If they import them and they dumb them down or whatever. But the fact that it stood out to the rest was unbelievable because we all thought this is not even being the top 3. It's probably going to be in the bottom half, and it won. So I came to respect it even more doing so in a blind taste testing, knowing that there was no bias there. It was just like you're drinking what's in front of you and rating out what you're tasting. So. I think it's an exceptionally well-made Oktoberfest. Stylistically, rating-wise, I'd probably give it 8.5, 9. Like Chad said, when it comes to VJCP, it almost hits everything right on the nose. So there's nothing wrong with it. Personal, 7.5 for me. I buy it every year, so I mean, I'm going to buy it again probably next year and going forward just to have it. It does seem to change every year. I don't know if they're using, if they're changing up the recipe or just maybe where they get their hops from, their malts from, it kind of changes each year. But if you've never had this and you like Oktoberfest, you owe it to yourself to give it a try, especially since I think it's one of the better North American brewed Oktoberfest. And if you haven't had it, I don't know, you should go get it. It's available everywhere. It's available in all Canada. It's available in all U.S. everywhere. Cheap, you can find it, so give it a go.
Yeah, Jamie.
My first time having it was actually Monday. I bought a 6-pack, and I had one on Monday and liked it. And I'm enjoying this one tonight. It's a good beer. It's a boring style. But would I buy a 6-pack of this every year when it came out? Yeah, sure. I really enjoy it. It has a nice taste. I'd probably give it, like reading the style guidelines, it falls in line with everything that it says. So give it a 9. And for personal enjoyment, I'd say, I don't know, I'd give it an 8.5. I really like it. It's if the sweetness was dialed back just a wee little bit, it would be a 9. But yeah, it's a good beer. I'd buy it every year. I'd get a 6 of it. It's good.
Awesome. Gregory.
I've had this once before. I'm going to ballpark it 2012, 2013. I just picked up a 6-pack. I think my brother-in-law wanted to try it, so we shared a couple. I liked it then. I like it now. I'm not a terribly big Marzen person, although I will say the thing about Marzen is they're one of the few beers I actually do enjoy pairing with food. I normally do not like to drink with food, but I do find Marzens go well with Thanksgiving dinner. And so I like them for that purpose. I mean, in terms of style, for the 10 Marzens I've had, this tastes pretty similar. It's a little sweeter to me than typical Marzens are. But in this case, I actually like it a little bit more than typical style. So I don't know. I'm going to say for the style, it's 9. It's pretty close to every other one I've tasted. It's slightly different maybe, but pretty close. And for my personal enjoyment, 8. I quite like it. I think it's good. I'd happily drink this with Thanksgiving dinner. I probably would actually spend $14.50 to buy another 6-pack of this. So
awesome. Chris Laser Eyes Lysak himself. What do you think, sir?
Well, my history on this beer, well, this is the second one I've ever had. The first one I ever had was about 3 minutes ago. I really like this. This is right down my alley. I love it. I like the sweetness of this beer. The caramel flavors really come out for me on this one. Sam Adams, yeah, I'm really liking this Oktoberfest beer. And you know what? For style, Marzens, I don't think I've had very many, if any at all. So I really can't give it a number with style. I mean, if this is what it's supposed to taste like, then I'm giving it a 10 if that's what it is, right? And for personal enjoyment, like Jamie, I like this beer too. I'm giving this an 8.5 as well because this is pretty good. And I'm actually looking forward. You know what? This is my first Oktoberfest beer. I'm really looking forward to the other ones too because I want to see how they all compare with this one because this one's dynamite now. So that's my personal opinion.
Awesome. And Nicholas?
Well, as far as my personal history goes with this particular beer, first time I ever had it, I think it was shortly after the deal was signed between Moosehead for the distribution and that they brought Sam Adams Oktoberfest to New Brunswick in like 2009. And I try to have it every year. I actually really like this beer. I've liked it over the last several years. In fact, sitting in front of me are 2 beers that kind of accidentally got cellared. I got a 2011 bottle and a 2012 bottle sitting here, which I am not going to drink, but I won't throw them out either. As far as this one, I thought it had a nice, smooth, bready caramel taste. Nice, lingering sweet toffee in it. It's creamy, but it also feels a bit soggy in the back of the palate. Overall, I don't think it's as good as I remember it being. I remember it being maybe a little sweeter and fuller in body. But overall, I think it's a very solid example of the style of Oktoberfest Marzen. So I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10. And for me, in my own opinion, overall, 7 out of 10. I think it's solid. I'll still drink it, and I'll still buy it again.
All right, awesome. For me, I probably had it roughly around the first time, around the same time Nick did. Whenever it showed up in Nova Scotia, it was either that same year or shortly afterwards. It probably came to Nova Scotia as well. So around the late 2000s, somewhere around there, I think. Yeah, I've had a few examples of the style, and it does pretty much fit the style beat by beat. You got your slightly more malty, caramel, toffee-ish kind of taste. This one is probably the sweetest one I've ever had, as other people have mentioned on the panel here. But I think there's a interesting balance here between the sweetness and the sort of slightly spicy, earthy hop background here. I think they do a good job of balancing it pretty well. And it's incredibly drinkable. You know, it's still fairly light on the palate, so it still can be paired with food really, really well. So it still hits all the sort of check boxes you want from an Oktoberfest Marzen to begin with, especially if you're looking for a more traditional one. Apparently they brew this like they brew pretty much all their stuff still to sort of a more of a Germanic European tradition as far as how they do things. I don't think Sam Adams has changed that up too much. So if you're looking for a great example of this style of beer, then this is what you're looking for. Again, like everyone pretty much has said, it's not an exciting style. It's just, you know, a slightly beefier lager, basically. But if that's what you're looking for, then you're going to get a really great one here, I think. Style-wise, yeah, I'd have to go about as far as a 9. You know, it's so dead-on close that you could say 10, depending on how you're just feeling about it that day. But I'll just say a 9 there. And for just a good drinking beer, just to enjoy, I'd have to sit at around a 7, 7.5, somewhere around there for it. I think it's pretty goddamn good stuff, and it's probably one of Sam Adams' best seasonals, at least out of the seasonals I've been able to get my hands on. So that's where it sits for me. So I guess we could move on now to if anyone has any final thoughts, we'll just open up the panel for anyone to jump in.
I do have a final thought. Well, one of my final thoughts is I could not find this beer anywhere in St. Catharines. It was sold out everywhere in every LCBO online. It took me, a good day and a half to actually find this that I could drive to locally. So, I mean, that probably just tells you something. Either, well, one of two things. Either they're not ordering enough at the LCBO, or people are just eating this stuff up. And you know what? I can see people eating this stuff up. It's good, it's drinkable, and of course, it's an Oktoberfest, and Thanksgiving is just around the corner for us in Canada. So, I mean, if you're going to pair this with any turkey dinners or anything, then people are just going to load up on them. You know what I mean? And there's a reason for it, and it's a damn fine good beer.
Chris,
it's actually it's actually somewhat difficult to get in Toronto too. I mean, it's not that it's not available, it's not that it's sold out, but there's very few LCBOs that carry it. In fact, I had to go to an LCBO that was actually sort of what you'd almost call like a fairly ghetto LCBO. Like, it was very small, like they don't have much of a beer selection yet for some reason. They had a bunch of these, but all the big LCBOs by me just don't carry it.
That's because most of the Toronto LCBOs are for snobs.
So you guys heard it here first. Highly sought after in Ontario. Trade all of your Sam Adams to Chris and Greg, specifically for Bellwood's products.
That's right.
That's right. There you go. Mm-hmm. He is a mule. Yeah, interesting. And I was thinking about this. This really sort of also skirts the line between like what people in their minds, who are not necessarily hardcore beer drinkers, but it sort of fits that crafty versus macro kind of line. It's kind of walking that to a certain degree because it doesn't taste too unlike some of the sort of maltier, sort of lighter ales and maltier lagers that you sometimes get from some macro companies. Yeah. But at the same time, it's still straight up a craft beer too. So
yeah, it's not like a very big stretch from having a pale ale, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Also, Sam Adams in general nowadays gets a bad rep for just being Sam Adams, right? Like the biggest craft beer fucking brewery, period. And a beer like this just goes to show you they can make really good beer. They can. And this is a prime example. I mean, the reason why they sell a lot of it and why it's highly sought after in Canada. It's a good beer. It's well made to the style. And, everyone's always talks about Sam Adams, myself, about being like an intro brewery for people getting into craft beer. But they do make really good styles that, I mean, you can be a veteran craft beer drinker and thoroughly enjoy it. So props to them for, brewing good beer.
I always think
Joe, go ahead, Greg.
Until they're
No,
bought
I
off
was
by
just-
AB InBev shortly next year.
No, all I was gonna say is I think Sam Adams is they take what are often very simple, well done, or styles that are sort of overdone, and they just kind of nail them. They just kind of make them a really good example of what an otherwise boring style is.
And I just wanted to add, Joe, you got to stop manipulating everybody and in your flavors and stop corrupting.
Yeah,
Try to
Joe,
manipulate
come on.
everybody into giving away their Sam Adams Oktoberfest for Bellwoods. It's a horrible trade. You guys in the States are getting ripped off. Bellwoods isn't that good.
I was just going to respond to Chris. The same thing for me, like in my area. When I heard about you guys doing this beer, I looked around and it wasn't available at all. And a week later, I saw that there was some available, and around me there was a 6-pack, literally a 6-pack. So I'm assuming that I'm assuming that they got a bunch and it just went really quick because
That's what I'm thinking. Because
there's
last week
nothing around.
when Chad and I went over to the LCBO, there was a bunch, like case upon case of this stuff. And then today, just at the LCBO on the way here in Niagara Falls, I think there were 6 left. That's it. When we were there.
And from the last time when you did Boston Lager, I still had one left over. So on Monday night, I tried a Boston Lager and one of these, and I preferred this actually over the two.
Oh, 100% for me on that
I'm
one.
gonna need you to settle down, Chris.
Sorry, my bad.
And if I can compare this to one other beer that I recently tried, I tried a Waterloo Fest beer, which actually just came out this week in the LCBO, and I think this is on the opposite end of the spectrum compared to that beer. It was
What, something from
This
Waterloo
is
is
much
not
fun.
good?
It was.
Noted.
I was excited, to try one, but it was kind of wah.
You are such a homer, sir. Such a homer.
Well, no, I tried it. I did try it, of course. It wasn't all that smooth.
Yeah, wasn't that smooth?
So, if there's no other sort of final comments on this, we'll go to our watchers' comments.
Oh wait, Nick, have anything else?
Well, I was going to say something. I noticed it around the neck to bottle. It actually says 10-cent refund deposits when sold in South Australia. How much worldwide coverage do these bottles get?
Probably quite a bit.
Yeah, mine says that too.
I like how on the side of the bottle too. Sorry to interrupt you, Joe. Sorry for corrupting what you're saying. I see on the side here, it's nice. It's got that little tick mark where it says best before on the side here. Mine says August 2018, which is nice to have. That's pretty freaking handy.
I don't see anything.
It's on the side. When you look at the bottle straight on, it's on left hand side.
I'm blind. I don't see it.
That must
Yeah,
be.
that's typical for Chad.
Get your watchmaker glasses.
They're down there with Chris.
That must be a Canadian only thing for them.
Dick pics right now, so
To go
not
a
on
year
there, Joe?
out. No, for me it says it's not January because they usually give 4 months or so when they release the stuff. So it's weird that they're giving you guys a year, but that's just probably because it's imported. They're like, it can go up to a year.
export
Probably
version,
not a
maybe.
great idea, Nick.
It's an extra
Not 5
point-
years, Nick. Nick, not
Hey,
5
it's
years.
an extra 0.2% alcohol we get up here.
Oh,
man.
yeah, for sure.
It would be one because the beer store likes things that sit on the shelf for a year. They give everything a year shelf life anyway. And then when you're sending to the LCBO, usually it'll sit in the LCBO warehouse for 2 to 4 months before it hits a shelf.
There you go.
All right,
That's why.
we'll get to the viewer comments here. Go through them. Kent Beer Reviews is watching. Good evening, gents. Good evening, sir. Sorry you couldn't get a hold of one of these. He was invited to the panel. So,
And it is available in the UK. It was sold out when he tried to get it.
Jace Westcott's on here. He says, will Chris L and the Lesser Greg be feuding over which balcony reigns supreme?
Oh, I got loud people on off my balcony too. It's pretty funny because there's a Walmart parking lot right at the bottom of my my balcony.
That's on you.
They raced through there. It's awesome. So we're gonna have a little competition there, Greg.
Oh, I don't know if there'll be as much Fast and the Furious going on. Though.
You're gonna have to stream.
Oh, it's Walmart. It's not gonna. It's Walmart. So it's pickup trucks all jacked up. Don't worry. It's fine.
Can do water balloon reviews.
Yeah.
Should stream from
Stingus,
the back
Stingus.
or the patio or whatever you got. Your balcony.
that's
You should
funny.
stream from your balcony on your tablet and drink until you pass out. And talk about boobs.
I'm Polish, but I'm not that Polish. Thanks.
We'd love to, but
We'll see
Lee,
about
Lee
that.
gets me angry if we add
Debatable.
access noise to the
Debatable,
chat.
Chris. Debatable.
Malted Montreal is on here. He says he enjoys Sam Adams. He says, "What do you mean by soggy?"
Yeah, Nick. Nick, what do you mean by that, Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick. What do you mean?
Just a little bit of like a soggy, like a mouthfeel in the back. Like as it dries out, it kind of leaves this bordering on wet cardboard kind of feel in the back.
I feel like you need a pickle. I don't know what you're talking about.
Pickle would cleanse your palate.
Yeah, cleanse that palate.
Yeah, because he went on to make further comments. LOL, it's beer. They're all wet. Yeah.
True. I hope.
It's either wet or dry. There is no sweet.
But there is smooth.
Yeah, smooth. It's all kinds of smooth.
Smooth, wet, or dry.
But it's all
That smooth caramel flavor.
Ewert's favorite viewer, rating on your parade, says had lots of Oktoberfest beer. Sam Adams Oktoberfest has a macro aroma and macro taste, not a drain pour, but I'm not a fan. I go for the German Oktoberfest. Okay.
This is why Ewert hates you.
Mm.
But you also hate Ewert, so no.
Jace
hate
says,
relationship.
Jace Westcott says, same here, Chris. Sam Adams Oktoberfest has crappy distribution in Hamilton. Jason Voorhees says hi.
Yeah,
Oh, hey.
He
How's your
says
mom?
going.
How's your mom?
He says going to the store shortly. Maybe I'll get some ideas from this chat.
Good luck finding any.
He was asking for Oktoberfest and Marzen beers and similar. Please recommend some. He was asking for.
I actually like the Creamer Oktoberfest too. If you get a chance, if that's out yet this year.
I mean, if you want to,
It is out.
if you really want to try some, just
Saturday.
honestly, just go to the import section, go to the German section, and just look for Oktoberfest and try them. Just make sure they're fresh. As Rhino said earlier, they like to sit on stuff, but the only way you're going to know what kind of Oktoberfest you like, or really just give them a go. We can give you recommendations, but again, a lot of people, we're talking about distribution. When it comes to LCBOs, we don't even know what's available and what's in stock. So even with the website.
Yeah. Malted Montreal said, "Did you see my Anthony Willis interview?" I don't know who Anthony Willis is, so I have to say no.
Willis?
Anthony Wills?
Willis? I don't know.
Wills.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. He says, yeah, these guys got me thinking about trying some new IPAs. Jace Westcott says he likes Creemore Springs Oktoberfest. I'm not sure if I ever had that one.
I'm gonna try
It's worth trying. If
it for sure.
it's not that
Massive Beer
dissimilar to
Review
this.
says, please just cover alt beers already.
I'm going to
it's
say this
coming.
as nice as I possibly can.
Actually,
But,
mash paddle.
Matt, go fuck yourself. Thank you.
That was very nice, Joe.
No, I
Yeah,
said it
that's
was
very-
very
It wasn't very professional.
No, you don't listen. That's on him for bringing in alt
Matt!
beers.
You're
That's
you're
not-
corrupting beer too.
No alt beers. It's bad.
Yeah.
Man.
Booze Review CA says, good evening. I'm trying to avoid Oktoberfest beers. I want to actually go to Germany one year for Oktoberfest. All right.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Bad. It'd be the best way to probably experience them, honestly.
And Malted Montreal says he's, I guess this Anthony Wills guy is owner of Kilchoman Distilleries. Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
So, anyone have any ideas what we're going to cover next week? I had an idea.
What's next? Macro?
I had an idea to throw out
Well,
there.
Chris won't be here
Oh,
next
great.
week.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, he'll be on a shitty balcony, fucking watching Walmart
No,
get
he's-
deliveries.
he has his dart tournament,
Your dart tournament.
Oh,
I got
priorities.
tournament.
and I won't be here next Wednesday either.
Every year?
because I have a beer judging to do at the Cayman Kettle.
Are you literally gonna sit in your basement and judge beer?
Well,
No, I'm going to be at the Cayman Kettle, and I'm going to be live streaming most likely the judging.
well, based on that news, everybody who's watching, next week, this specific hangout is going to be increased by about 73% in
It's
terms
true.
of awesomeness. So,
It's true.
yeah.
Wait,
But I'll
what
still
would
be
be
here,
next?
Joe.
What's next Wednesday on the calendar?
October 4th.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah, okay.
I was considering,
May the
I was
October
considering
4th be with you.
maybe Vax 10%.
Ooh.
Oh,
Game.
I've got one. I've
Not
got
for
one in my
that.
fridge. I'm saving it now.
There you go.
I was thinking we
Celery aged Fax 10.
Maybe.
just go
Well,
to
it's gonna
Vax.
have a week in the fridge.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh no, well we'll discuss it offline, and of course the Macho Man will let you guys all know. But
So next week is macro. So right.
yeah. Rating on your we'll get some last comments here. Rating on your prices. The popular German Oktoberfests have gone down in quality. Spaten was great years ago, but these days it tastes like shit. Booze Review CA says LOL pumpkin beers LOL runs away.
I like a good pumpkin beer.
Malted Montreal says Lee, invite me on, bro. Sorry, dude. The invites for this specific panel are pretty limited and pretty select. So, and it's
For God's sakes,
show,
nobody believes you, Lee. You invite me.
And the show's almost over. So, Jace Westcott says Hobrow and Paulin are supposed to show up at the LCBO. Or Hofbrau, he says, okay. And that sounds better. Booze Review CA says that's what you should do. The fact's 10%, I guess. So, yeah. So we'll see what happens. We're going to close this one down now. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And thank you, everyone, for, sending in your comments. And, again, we'll try to get it a few days beforehand, let you guys know what's coming up in the next panel so you can prepare and drink along with us and watch. And if it's facts 10%, well,
that's on Lee.
That's on all of us, really.
No, that's on you. But then it's
on all of us.
That's gonna be a fantastic chat by the end.
It's gonna be about 7 minutes long as we all vomit everywhere. Should be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Should be great times.
So
No, me either. I'm in.
We'll see what the Macho Man says.
I've never looked for it. I don't know if we get it, but if I do, I'll get it.
Yeah, I'm on board. All right. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.